Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we've mentioned in the previous video that episode 2 of how to fix, maintain, repair your E30 will be about your cluster trip gears. So we all know that on a lot of the E30s that the first thing you find is that your trip meter is always on 000. That's a clear indication that the trip gears have now broken, failed, etc. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through the vehicle. We're going to start off from scratch and we're going to start in the vehicle. And I'm going to show you guys how to strip the cluster out, what's involved in stripping it out. And then we're going to come over to the bench here and we're going to strip the cluster apart, right? And then we're going to put the gears together. So for this whole setup here, you're going to need a few tools. It's quite DIY. So this is actually a nice it's a nice setup to it's a nice repair to do at home, because you don't need much tools, you don't need much knowledge. With regards to knowledge, you will actually learn from the video how to do it, and it's quite simple, right? But you just need some time, you need some patience. We've got video gears in stock, we've got multimeter gears. So the first thing that you check is that your cluster will always tell you in front here whether it's a video cluster or a multimeter cluster. So when you're purchasing your gears, you can then advise from there. A lot of the times you find mixed match clusters or cluster boards, because over the years these things do break, people do chop and change them. So if you do find a mixed match system, then we can always correct it afterwards. We would supply your gears and obviously the link for the video as you purchase them, so it makes it easier as a DIY package. The gears are available here at Ratical or at Zen Parts. The links are all in the descriptions, so you can purchase them online. We can have them shipped out to you. You can collect if you want to collect. If you want to and you don't want to do your cluster, you're welcome to take your cluster out, bring your cluster through to us, and we can have it done here for you quickly. You'll wait for about 20 minutes and then you can take it back. Anyway guys, let's go strap it up. I hope you enjoy this episode and I hope you guys find it useful. Okay, so guys, we're gonna start now with the removal of the cluster, right? I've already started and then I stopped the video and I remembered, and this is the challenges that I've got to face, unfortunately, with working on cars and videoing on the same time. So first step is let's lower the kick panel, right? So these here should have a normal flathead. It's almost like a pushing grommet type of thing, so it only turns one way. So you'll see I'll just turn it one click here, that's locking it actually, and then I'll do, so you'll have 3 of these grommets, so 2 on that side there and 1 on that side, right? Then obviously the kick panel slides in at the bottom here, and then there's one more clip holding it. I've taken that clip out already. Then what you're gonna do is we're gonna remove this panel over here, which is if you put your finger at the back here or put your hands at the back here, you'll actually feel that there's a funny looking nut on it, right? So it's not a nut as such where it's got a head to it. You've got these rough threads onto it. So you'll remove these nuts. They normally hand tighten. So when we put them back, I'll show you an easier way quickly of how to do it. So you'll push back here. Be careful, there is 2 clips over here. Then we'll get this guy out. So then we'll put them one side. Okay, now we're gonna move over and take over the steering, right? So in a normal instance, you would use a size 23. Typical way to use it is either use a 4-wheel spinner, or you can use your torque bar with an extension and a socket. Then you can remove the whole steering. This is on a standard E30. This is an Alpina steering. So I've chosen how to remove it by the Allen keys, right? So you've got 6 Allen keys holding it. I've already loosened the 6. It's a bit tight here. So I'm not going to pull the steering off completely. Maybe I should, because I'm going to disconnect this router. Right. So I'm just going to leave these Allen keys in the center here. Now we're going to move over. We're going to take off the cluster drum plate, right? So we've got two Phillips over here. We've got two Phillips over here, and you've got another two here. So guys, don't try not to move these Phillips, because the sizing is actually a very awkward size, right? So to get them back again is a little bit of an issue to find. You'll have to go strip second-hand cars, and even on the second-hand cars, because the clusters have been opened up again, you'll actually battle with them. So, and you'll actually see it's a very funny sized Phillip head. So it's actually a long flathead Phillip. So you can actually, these ones are marked with a black head, right? They got a black head and they got a washer on it. As to the center ones, which is a silver head, black heads with the washers on it. As to the two center ones, which is a silver one, it's shorter with no washer on it, and the thread is a little bit rougher. So these here are basically used to hold the drum plate to the cluster. The two long ones are used to hold the cluster to the dashboard. See, so this one is out already. It looks like it's stripped out on the cluster itself. So for three small gears, we've got to go through this whole process here. But you'll find that, especially if your car is a driving car and it's I won't say everyday vehicle. Okay, these are medium lengths, right? Also blackheads. These are the top ones here. If your car is a driving car and if everything is operational and functional, the strip gears will actually irritate you to hell and gone. So you'll actually see on some of the new or the dashboards that's done, right? Especially when they're done with a leather over it, you actually don't have space to mount this guy properly. Right, so once you've taken off the 6 Phillips, these guys should be just loose here. So I'm just gonna slide this back here on the floor. Now, if you look here, you've got another 2 Phillips screws. That's it, holding the cluster on the ears to the dashboard, and you'll find a lot of the clusters are always broken on these ears, right? And that's purely because when we're putting them back in, the guys like to force them because you've got to wiggle them a little bit, and then they tend to break off. So again, medium length, black hair, that's all to bolt the cluster to the dashboard. Okay, so in total, we've got 6 Phillips holding the drum plate to the dashboard and to the cluster respectively, and then we've got 2 screws visible from just the cluster side holding the cluster to the dashboard. So you'll see that you got to wiggle it out a little bit, right? And a lot of the times the guys don't like to take out the steering, and they try and wiggle it out and they break these 2 ears. And if the ears are broken, it's a little bit of a challenge because they are part and part of the cluster casing. So what I'm going to do is now make sure your ignition is off as well. I'm removing through the 3 plug points that you have holding the cluster, right? And they remove quite simply. I just use a screwdriver and I wedge it in at the bottom. So you'll see there's a black lock clip. You can wedge it in and you can pull that out there, and then you should have one more yellow. So for those that don't know, For those that don't know, the yellow is the yellow plug runs to your onboard computer. So your onboard computer reads solely off the it reads solely off the sorry, I see something else is on the plastic. Okay, so it's just a globe here. These auxiliary globes. So the yellow plug feeds the onboard computer, right? Okay, multimeter cluster out. Let us take it to the bench and let's start stripping the gears out. Okay, guys, so it's a cluster is very simple, right? We've got to let me just get my one. Okay, guys, so a cluster is very simple, right? It's intricate but simple. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to remove your green plug out. Right, and then we've got Phillips screws holding the cluster down to, or the casing down to the front housing, right? So you can use either Phillips or you can use a size 7. So I'm just going to go here to the opposite side and take this 4 out here. Right, so we've basically got, what's this? There's eight Phillips, 9 Phillips holding your casing down to your rear casing down to your front casing. So you should be able to, oh sorry, there's a chip here. So this here is actually your calibration chip, right? So this calibrates your rev counter, and I always battle. So if you got fat fingers, then I feel you sorry trying to get this chip out. It's always a mission to get this guy out. So I'm just gonna wedge it out a little bit here, just so I can get some sort of grip. Clearly that doesn't work. I'm just gonna turn it this way, right? Okay. So basically you just wanna try and wedge it out here. When it's in the car, it's a bit easier. This here is your calibration chip for your rev counter. Once that is out, you'll be able to slide this back out easier. Scrape out here. Okay, so your rear casing. We'll move the front casing to the front there. Now when you put this guy down, you don't want to put it down flat. You don't want to put it down flat because you are going to damage the cluster gears, right? So we want to take out now the speed up. They're all independent. This is your main board here. You've got interacting boards with it. You've got a front board sitting on here, and this is where the batteries normally like to leak. So they get old with time and then they leak out. And let's bring it closer to you. So here's your batteries here. This is your secondary board. These batteries like to leak out. They leak and they leak onto the board and they cause a whole lot of drama from there. So on this specific cluster, or in today's episode, what we're tackling is the speedo, right? So you can see the speedo here stuck at 115 kilos. The trip meter is clearly not working. So we're going to turn it to the back here. I think I'll just have to get my Phillips. Just bring my Phillips there, please, in the car. Okay, so I'm back with my small Phillips. I left it in the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out these 4 small head Phillips. And then we should be able to slide it out. Then we can move the casing to the back here, right? So I should be working with an anti-static cloth, but we don't work with this here every day. So that's all I have to do for now. Okay, I just want to see what is going on. Okay, so here's the problem here. So it looks like these guys have altered those gears before, and they're using a brass gear, which has stripped the plastic gear. So you've got your cluster out, or your speedo out, and you'll actually see these are the gears that you want to tackle, right? So we've got 2 flathead screws that I'm going to take off here. There's one gear that always gives me a hard time. It's the smaller gear. Okay, so we're going to keep these 2 guys here, right? And I'm going to pull this cover off, and I'm going to show you now. So I'm just going to grab the multimeter gears over here, and you'll see that the gears are supplied in 3 packs. 3 in this pack, and I think the video will come with 4. 4 2, I can't remember now exactly. So okay, it looks like we've got this gear. Yeah, so we've got this gear, we've got the smaller gear that sits on top, and we've got this drive gear. Now if you look here, right, you'll actually see they've added a brass gear to this guy here. So what I think happened is that the brass, this is a very soft plastic, and I think this brass gear is actually, something is not right here. Okay, so it works to a certain point, but the gears are stripped here. They are stripped. So you would normally like to pull this guy out, and I'm actually going to use, I found that if I took these guys out here first, yeah, that's gonna pop out here. So top gear, oh, here's a problem here. Here's a problem, and you can actually see how flimsy these gears are. So here's your issue here. So these gears have stripped completely. This one started stripping on the outside. The inner one is still good. So top gear, lower gear. These 2 gears don't come in the kit because they hardly break. I'm just gonna pop out quickly and get this small side cutter. Okay. So we're back here. And I tend to just grab this guy at the bottom. It gives me some leverage to pull on it, but don't press too hard. Don't grab it too hard because you're gonna damage the gear at the bottom here. It looks like whatever bush they used here. Let's see what's going on here. So this gear is generally tighter. Just try and see if I can grab it with a smaller one. You can't wiggle it out. You can't really do much on this guy because everything around it. So I've just managed to wedge it here on the side. Okay, there's it. So here's your brass, copper gear, whatever it is, out of there, right? So we're gonna start off here quickly and pull these guys back out. And the first gear, I must just double check here. So obviously we said big gears on top, bottom gear, bottom. Okay, you can see this one clips in nicely, right? And we got the top gear. So the bottom feeder gear, so the smaller gear at the bottom connects to this guy here. And then we're gonna go through with our, we're just gonna see, okay, so we have to put this gear on first, right? So I don't really want to put grease on here. Let's just see now, and I thought as much. There's an insert missing on this guy. So they've used the previous guys. It's a bit of a balls up here. So the previous guys used, and you can see this is actually machined out, right? They've made up a gear to this shaft size. But if I remember correctly, there's actually a bush that sits over here where this gear's got to press onto. Otherwise, it just sits loosely like this here. And we can't have it like that. Guys, I'll be back now. Let me just look for another bush. Okay, so I just went and I got another speedo quickly, and it's a reason why I'm stripping this one off. It's 220. But all I want to do is I just want to grab this guy and use it for the push here. So fortunately we've got spares, but for the users at home, if something like this does happen, unfortunately you're gonna have to hunt down one or try and make up a small bush. Okay. Yeah, so we've just got the two flatheads there, and then we've got to wiggle it out here. I think there's a clip here. Yeah, just two clips here. Wiggle. So let's just separate them and keep that here. So here is the bush that I'm looking for. So you'll see that these are videos. You'll see how this whole gear setup comes out differently, right? But I just want to see now if I'm able to press to pull this bush out here and clean it off and reuse it. And I think it's gonna give me a hard time. I think this bush is gonna give me a hard time. Okay, I'm gonna pull it away here. So I need to apply a little bit more force to this guy here. So this is what happens when you try and make your own plans. And MacGyver's okay, yeah, I'm able to get out. Sometimes your MacGyvers don't work. There we go. So it's not something I really recommend using so much force on such delicate items, but you can see this is the bush that I'm actually talking about. So it's a very soft item. Okay, so thankfully we're able to press this bush on, and then this guy should be a tight fit over there. So you gotta get it down because you'll actually see that she's got a hole spot here at the bottom here, right? So your gear cannot slip past it there. Obviously it won't come further up because you've got the casing there. So let's see here, this is all the way down to the bottom. And you'll see it is spring tension. It is spring tension. So now let's get back to the gears here quickly. So we've got the one gear on here. We've got the smaller gear over here. And there we go. So as you turn your main gear, you'll see everything is turning with it. And you're actually able to get your trip gear working. So having said that, we're just going to leave these guys here, leave that homemade bush on the one side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some switch cleaner while I'm here and just give it a clean out. Sorry. Right. So this is our guy here. And then we're going to slide it back in. So it's got pins on the inside here. Right. And we've got to slide it into those pins. And then we can tighten it up at the back here again. Just press stop here. Okay guys, so I forgot to put this cover back on. So I'm just going to get this guy back quickly on. And then we'll assemble it, right? So it goes over like that. And just make sure your grommets are in here at the back here. And then, remember I showed you earlier, you've got these screws, these pin holes. You're going to slide your board over that pin, don't force it. She's through. Then we're just going to tighten it up here quickly. Then, so you've got two guide pins here, right? And the guide this guy slowly over into the guide holes and she'll just clip on. So then we'll get to the Phillips, the outer Phillips. So we'll just do opposite end tightening. Just the opposite ends here, and then we can close the rest up. So one in the center here. One way here. I find that some of them do get a little bit sticky and tight. And we'll just do the last two quicker. So that's a little bit sticky. Okay. Then we're gonna put our calibration chip back in, and then we're gonna get our speedo chip back in. So like this way here. You'll see she slides in. She's got two guides at the bottom here, and then the lock button here. Okay. So here she done. Here she done. Then let us get her ready for going back into the car. Okay guys, so we're gonna go and reinstall this guy, right? So we know that we've got a white plug here, we've got a yellow plug, that's your OBC plug, and then there should be another blue plug somewhere here. And here's the blue plug over here. So let's see. Okay, here's your two cluster lights here, and here's this guy here. So we just want to go plug these guys in. So it gets a little bit awkward to work here, and plus I'm trying to record, so I'm trying to give myself space so that I can show you guys what's happening here. Let me just get the globes put back in here quickly. So it does get a bit tricky because you can't really work from the back, right? So I'm going to push this globe. You'll see the terminals are on there already, so I'll find out if there's a guide here. Okay, that's in there. Should be another one here. It's actually this one must come out here. That one must come over to the side here. That's why she's so tight, because she's sitting in the wrong place. So I'm gonna put this guy in here. I've got to feel my way through here. She's in there. Now I got no space to work here. I've got no leverage. So then I'll pull this clip out here. You've got a lock clip here. So I'm going to press the plug down and you lock it on. Then we'll do the same thing for the yellow plug over here. Now I just need to get my hand to the back there. So make sure that the lock is out. I'll have to feel my way and guide it in here. So unfortunately guys, okay, so that is in. Let me get this globe put in here. Unfortunately I'm unable to get the camera to the back here, right? So you would have to just go with, sorry, where's this globe, huh? Like I told you now, this is such a crappy awkward position to be working in. We shall find. Let's see, where's this glove? Put it to hang here so nicely. And now I think she's falling down. Oh yeah, yes, I got the second globe basically here. We pushed in. Second globe in. And then I can get the brake plug in right here. Let's see, I'm tighten over the brake plug because all the other plugs are now holding and I'm not allowing me to move this cluster. Anyway. So you can't really bend these buns. They don't really give you that much space to bend, and they actually guide and lock quite easily. So we'll get the cluster in. Cluster's in here. Right. So first thing that we're gonna do is lock the ears in. Remember what I showed you? Sorry guys, just bear with me here because it is a thing. Okay, so remember what I showed you guys with regards to the blackheads. The blackhead Phillips will be holding the cluster to the dash. The silver one is holding the trumpet to the cluster. I'm just going to carry this one in properly. She's there. I can tighten this guy. Okay, sorry about that. So you make sure she bites. And it's crucial to get these ears tied on nicely, right? Because what will happen is that every time you hit a bump, this cluster will jump and fall around and irritate you. Okay. So now, what we're going to do here is push this plug back. Okay, what we're going to do is now, we're going to get our drum plate in. So you guide that in there, and then you've got two more Phillips blackheads as well holding the top there. Remember the blackheads will be on the outsides, and the two silver heads will be on the inside. So we've got the medium blackheads holding up here. I'm just gonna try and slot it in here, can't really see what's going on. So guys, I'm just gonna repeat myself while I'm busy here. If you'd like to purchase the gears, you can purchase it here at Ratical, or you can purchase it at Zen Parts. That's Shane. He's opened up. He's got quite a variety of stock. Yeah. So you can actually see she holds in stuff now. And then we'd supply you the link as to how to do the install. So you can see here, once you've got all your screws in the right places, this here actually goes smoothly. It's not a headache to do. But you'll find on some of the E30s that we find nowadays that the cars are in such horrid conditions that you'll find drywalls and a whole lot of funny screws holding everything else down. which makes working on the cars a nightmare, because you first gotta get whatever contraptions people made off there, and then figure out, and then now you gotta go find the correct screws to go in its place, and then you'll find that the holes are made bigger, and it just becomes a headache. So in this case, you can see all the original screws are being used, and it makes it such a pleasure to work with. Okay, so we finished up with all the blackheads, so we can actually feel that the cluster is tight. So the only part that is loose is your screws that hold the front casing or the front cover over to the cluster. And we're gonna get that guy on now. Okay, so that's nice and tight, but there was a problem on this side here, so I'm just gonna see what the issue was. It looks like she's going. Okay, so that's nice and tight, right? So you know you're not going to get any rattles from here or anything of the sort. Now we're going to go back and we're going to get our drum plate. So this is the lower cluster drum plate. A lower cluster drum plate. Remember, you've got two guides in there, so you can guide that, and then you also want to fit it in such a way that it doesn't look like it's been tampered with, right? So you get these two screws here, or sorry, these two nuts here with rough threads, and you've got to find your way here at the back. Unfortunately, like I've said before, there is no room for me to show you where this shit does go. Okay, so I'm just gonna get it. And she fell. Okay, I got it. Okay, so again, like I'm saying, it takes a little bit longer here because you can't see what is going on. You've got to feel it. Okay, there she is. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull this guy down. So what happens is you can actually just press the unit back nicely, slide it in, make sure she's slotted in properly, and you can get as tight as you can by hand. Then I'll come over here. I'm just gonna move the camera back a little bit. Come in over here and do the same. This one is a little bit better because you've got some more room to work. Let's do the other side. So you need to sort of line up and lock on as tight as you can. So she looks good. And just try and tuck this guy behind. So I just want to loosen it quickly. Take it out completely, just loosen it. Now just so I can tuck the span in. nicely made. The cluster face. So I'll hold the bottom here and then pull onto the top. So then hold the bottom. Okay, there's it. Looks cleaner. Okay. So we've got it in, we've got a bit of a gap here. I'll try to align this gap properly without using too much of video time. Then I'm just going to get the steering back on. I'm not going to tighten all of them, you guys get the idea. And then just the kick panel at the bottom. So the kick panel has got your headlight adjusters. So only on the 3 to 5 models. I'm not too sure if the 3 to 3s came with them, but the 3 to 5 models are ISS. The triple 3s, I'm not too sure about the M3s. They have, but we don't really touch on them, so we don't have to worry too much, but just make sure that the pipes are not tampered with. So I'm just going to get 2 or 3 Allen keys lined up here, and then I'll come and tighten this guy up. And these ways are exposed to get the water working properly in the car. It's not like a normal steering. I think I've got a plan for it. It should work. Okay, alright, so I'm going to come back and put you up. Right there. Like I said, guys, apologies. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to get the alarm meter or horn plugged in. Then I'm going to get the 2 plugs for the headlight adjusters put back in. I'll come and neaten this guys out now. I'm not going to do it now. I just want to show you guys how we're going to close this guy up. So you've got to slide this guy into its position at the bottom. Right, which I need actually the camera space to work. I need to move the tripod to get there. And then I'm going to align this hole up here. Okay guys, you guys get the picture right? But I'm going to come back out here. Because I want to get this guy hooked in properly. So here we go. Cluster gears working. Your trap gears are working. That's how you install them. Look, the spacing is crappy here. So try doing it yourself here and try still trying to record it and have space for you guys to see what I'm doing. It's actually freaking hard. But yeah, that's how your cluster gears are done. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this channel. I hope it was useful for you and educational. This here is episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3. I'll let you guys know shortly on what episode 3 will be. Please like, subscribe and share our channel. You guys know what to do. Again, if you want to purchase the gears, go into the link, get it down there, and let me know what you guys think. Cheers guys.